अस्सलाम वालेकुम नाजरीन। आज मैं एक स्पेशल गेस्ट के साथ आपके साथ हाजिर हुआ हूँ। जनाब शेख अब्दुर्रहीम ग्रीन साहब इस वक्त लंदन से मेरे साथ मौजूद हैं। आप क्रिश्चियन ख़ानदान में पैदा हुए, फिर 1989 में इस्लाम कबूल किया और जब से दाई इस्लाम हैं। अस्सलाम वालेकुम शेख साहब।
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
शेख साहब, what is your take about this pandemic?
Well, I think on the most important level, it is a test from Allah. That's what we always have to remember. Life is a test. This is the purpose of life. Maybe we think life is about eating and drinking and, families and businesses and jobs. No, life is a test. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us this many different places in the Quran, in many different ways in the Quran. And also the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us about this. So this is life. Life is a test. And this is just another one of those tests that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent us in life. And this is the most important thing to remember. Sometimes, we get too relaxed. We get too comfortable in life. And Allah reminds us, no, this life is not what is important. What is really important is the life that is to come, is your meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment. So this is one thing absolutely for sure, that this virus, whatever is happening, wherever it is from, whatever it is, a virus or not a virus, I don't have the scientific knowledge to comment on those things. But one thing for sure, whatever is happening, it is one of those tests from Allah to see, are we grateful or not? Will we remember Him or not? Will we stay firm upon the deen or not? This is for certain one of the things we can understand from this.
Sheikh Sahab, what Muslims should do, because this is a holy month of Ramzan is going on. What a Muslim should do in this holy month?
I think the first thing I want to advise everybody is to take the government guidelines very seriously. The reason is because fundamentally, I think I won't say that this is a very difficult topic, by the way. It's very difficult. But look, Pakistan is supposed to be a democratic country. Is that right? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So democracy comes, so part of democracy is that we trust our government, but we don't trust our government. This is part of democracy.
Yes.
If we trusted our government 100%, we wouldn't need to vote in new people. We would just trust them to rule their affairs for us, right?
Right.
And we can argue and have a discussion whether this is a good system or not. Maybe a better system would be that we have a system or a government system that is run by people we do trust.
Yeah.
Who are the people that we really do trust? Maybe they should be running our government. But the whole point of democracy is that no one should be trusted with power, without limits. So part of democracy is we have the right to question what our governments are doing. We have the right to call them to account for what they're doing. No one is beyond criticism. Yes. So, the president or the prime minister of Pakistan is not beyond criticism. If he put himself in that position of being the PM and he's democratically elected, by that process, he must be open to criticism. But on the other hand, we should also trust our government to the extent that it is their purpose to do what is right for us. That is their purpose. So as long as we have a balance of the government being run by people who are genuinely concerned about the people in that country, and that we also hold them to account, within that process we should really listen to the advice of our government, because we hope that they have access to the scientists, to the experts, to the economists, and actually to other world leaders, not just in our countries, yes, but all over the world. They are contacting other people from other countries. And so working together, they have a knowledge base that you and me cannot possibly have access to. So especially in a situation like this, I think it's very important that we take government guidelines and we take their warnings and we take their advices to us very seriously, inshallah.
So you are offering your prayers at home.
Okay, now in terms of, spirituality, yes, in terms, I got diverted talking about, democracy and governments,
Yes.
but look, subhanallah, the beautiful thing about our beautiful Islam is that it really, subhanallah, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has told us about everything. The Quran gives us some guide. You will find guidance in the Quran and the Sunnah about everything. And if it is not there directly, the scholars are able, by looking at the Quran and the Sunnah, to find something that is similar to give us guidance. So look, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said 1,400 years ago that the person who stays at home during the time of plague gets the reward of a shaheed. Subhanallah. So first of all, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he knew about plagues. He knew about pandemics. He knew about these things that happened and would happen in the future. And they happened many times, by the way, in our history. This is not the first time. Maybe for us, it's the first time. It is not the first time in Islamic history. The Sahaba actually went through more than one example of plagues that they faced. Yeah. And so the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam already 1,400 years ago advised us about social distancing, advised us about, quarantine. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if you find the plague in a place, do not travel to it. And if you are in that place, do not leave it. These are things that, subhanallah, this amazing man living in the desert 1,400 years ago with no PhDs, no reading, no writing, no universities, yet he was giving us this knowledge that even scientists and advisors, they are telling us this is the thing to do today. Where is this knowledge from? This is from Allah. So brothers and sisters, to stay at home is an act of worship so great that the Prophet compared it to being a shaheed. This means this, even if you're alive, you still are getting an amazing reward. Look, so that's from one thing, subhanAllah, the rewards are great. Secondly, the idea of retreating from the world, spending time alone, is something that you will find throughout history. It's in the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He went to the cave of Hira, for example. Also, let us remember how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Muslims in Mecca were boycotted, how they lived in a valley in the outskirts of Mecca, how they lived in this valley, subhanAllah, I can't remember how long it was, for a year or 9 months or 2 years. Khadija, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy upon her, she died in this time, subhanAllah, and they were eating leaves from the trees. This is how desperate they were. And this was all for La ilaha illallah, subhanallah. So there are many examples we can find in the life of the Prophet, in life of all of the Prophets actually, where they went through these moments of isolation. And it's actually something we should take great benefit from. Because yes, there is a great benefit in meeting and praying together in Jama'ah. Of course, this has a big emphasis in Islam. But there is also benefit from spending time alone, spending time away from society. It is a good time for us to spend in contemplation, in thinking deeply within ourselves and connecting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a different way. So let us try to find the benefit wherever it is. This is part of the, what it means when Allah tests us. We are also seeing how we can worship Allah in every situation, inshallah.
Well, in Pakistan, people are saying that it's not quarantine, it's Quran time. You should spend your time with Quran, so you can connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sheikh Sahab, how people can feed poor in this holy month of Ramzan and in this lockdown situation? What's your advice? How we can take things?
Well, I don't know about the situation in Pakistan. Obviously, here in England, for example, I am part of a volunteer program myself, for example. So if there are some people who need food deliveries, I have an app on my phone, and they will contact me, or they will send out an alert so anyone in the local area can go and pick up food and give it to those elderly people or needy people who need it. And I know that, mashallah, Pakistan is full of very, very, mashallah, intelligent and clever people. Maybe they could do something similar. You could develop an app where people who are needy, we could help them. So it depends on the rules in your country. I don't know how flexible you are to be able to go out and help people. I hope that, of course, for people who are genuinely in need and for real important purposes, you should be able to go out, obviously, to buy food. So obviously also to help, that we should have groups of people. Hopefully they will be, wearing the correct protective equipment. They can go. But it depends on your situation there, my brother, brothers and sisters in Pakistan. I don't know. But obviously we should still be doing our best, looking out for our neighbors, especially our neighbors, the people in our locality. As the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the believer is not one who is hungry. So I think that is there that you have.
In the last, I would ask you if you want to give any message to the Pakistani people.
Well, my message is, I suppose just to repeat what I said, in the sense that just to remember, my brothers and sisters, that life is a test. Alhamdulillah, I think with the new Prime Minister, Imran Khan, I think he's someone, genuinely, Allah knows best. We only Allah knows what's in a person's heart. But I think he is genuinely someone who cares about Islam. He's genuinely he cares about people. He cares about the people of Pakistan. I don't think he's just out for it for himself. We've had too many politicians just in the game of politics for their own personal gain. They don't really care about the country. I think Imran Khan, from that point of view, is genuinely a different person. By the way, I'm not condemning any particular leader.
Yes.
Allah knows best. So there's a lot of reason for optimism. And I know that, he's working so hard to get Pakistan on its feet, economically, and in other ways as well. And so this seems like a big knockdown, it's, just as maybe things with coronavirus comes along. But this is, if you look to the life of the Prophet, you will find many, many tests like that. The people of Pakistan, mashallah, I know that the vast majority of them love Allah, they love Islam, they love the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And, just to remember, to all my brothers and sisters, life is a test. Many times we get so caught up in this dunya, but remember, our time in this dunya is very, very short, and our time in front of Allah will be very, very long. So, give priority to the akhirah, really. That is what is really, really important. And honestly, if you do that, you will see that your dunya, Allah will look after your dunya, inshallah.
Thank you very much, Sheikh Abdurraheem Green, for your precious time for Pakistan, especially for Aaj News. तो नाज़रीन साहब, आपने देखा शेख साहब ने एक पैगाम दिया है पूरी पाकिस्तानी कौम को कि वो इस पैंडेमिक से, जो इस वबा के मौके पे इस वक्त जो वबा फैली हुई है, वो एक दूसरे का ख्याल करें और जो ये रमज़ान है इसको ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा यूटिलाइज करें अल्लाह ताला से कनेक्ट करने के लिए। मेरी तरफ से आज फिलहाल इतना ही। देखते रहिए आज न्यूज़।